Lucky adventurer with more metal than sense.
She folded her arms, shaking her head at the pitted floorboard.
But the place has a funny way of sealing itself up. Front door stays shut. The tower entrances are clogged with rubble. And it's been impossible to blast a way in.
Renengild trails off, and for a moment the room is silent but for the popping and cracking of the fire. What happened to Durgan's battery?
It don't bear dwelling on. There's too many superstitions about that place as it is.
She waves her mangled hand in a broad crescent, averting her gaze.
Killed each other off. Or so the old books say.
He glares at Renengild through hooded eyes.
Plenty of tales to go around, but none of them open the battery. And the last thing people need is another reason to fear the place.
She scowls at him.
Whatever it was, the other Pargrin dwarven settlements in the White March, Bone Picker, the Hawk, and the rest, emptied out not long after. Moved to gentler, greener lands.
Had the right idea, if you ask me.
I don't see why you need the White Forge to make good steel.
Finally, someone talking sense.
He raises his knife and half-peeled apple to the fire in a dramatic gesture of exasperation.
Durgan steel wasn't just good. It was some of the best. We need the best if we're going to keep Stalwart alive.
She glares at Uldric even while she speaks to you.
No one alive today has seen the White Forge, but the old stories tell that it was powerful. Glowed white-hot and gave off a steady, even heat, unlike any other furnace. Let better-schooled folk puzzle over how the thing was built. I just want to see it put to use.
Tell me about the Pargrin dwarves.
Pargrin's a word in their language. Means traveler. They've been wanderers for generations, but I couldn't tell you much more.
Alright, any idea where I should begin?
The battery's up the mountain to the north. A good hike away.
She jerks her head in the direction of the slope behind the house.
Near Galvino's place, huh?
Uldric says it in a breezy tone, but Renengild falls suddenly silent, consternation hardening the lines on her face. He smiles and draws his knife across the apple again.
So it is. Though I was going to suggest dealing with that ogre camp before anything.
Who's Galvino? She compresses her thin lips into a frown.
Mestre Galvino, as the old crosspatch prefers it, lives by himself and keeps the wilder and beasts at bay through sheer foulness of his temper.
She rolls her eyes.
She means to say he's a skilled smith and animancer, who's lived in the shadow of Durgan's battery for over a decade.
He looks over his shoulder at you and Renengild. And by Animancy's flimsy standards, that makes him an expert, does it? He folds his arms.
And he butters his bread on both sides and fits his left shoe before his right. That's neither here nor there.
She crosses her arms and crumbles the page in one tightening fist. You seemed flustered all of a sudden. Did he do something to anger you?
Me and the rest of the town. He knows better than to linger at our gates.
She laughs quickly. What happened with Galvino?
Old lunatic finally went too far. And we sent word to the Valiant Academies.
She frowns.
I don't like speaking on it, but if you want to get his guff, just remind him that we gave him the boot.
I see.
Ain't nobody here fond of the man, but he's a clever hand and a quick study. It's a fool who thinks he stayed so close to the battery without figuring something about it.
You said as much to the last party, and we haven't seen hide nor hair of him since. Maybe they didn't run afoul of Baragon's ogres after all.
She raises a gray eyebrow at him. Uldric shrugs and turns back to the fire.
Just watch your step. Galvino's place is a ways east of the battery, and folk who pass it bring unsettling tales.
Tell me about the Ogre camp.
Belongs to Flames That Whisper, Matron Baragon's clan. Hunters tell me they've been active of late.
Hunting elk and otherwise minding their own damn business.
He pops an apple wedge into his mouth and chews it aggressively.
Minding their own business. Never mind the latest expedition's disappearance, or the broken stockade.
She pinches the bridge of her nose, squinting.
I'm saying we shouldn't agitate him further.
He makes to toss another slice of peel into the fire, but he fumbles and drops his knife. He bends to pick it up, cursing. What does this matron have to do with anything?
The brawl outside was just the latest patch of trouble. The ogre clans are getting bolder, and we'll all sleep easier knowing they aren't circling our walls. Also, Baragons like to have whatever the last expedition found. Rumor has it they disappeared near her turf.
She crosses her arms and looks over to Uldric.
Killing a matron will only make our problems worse. The way to approach Baragon is with your hands held high.
If anyone could parley with an ogre, I suppose it'd be you. But they aren't known for their patience with prattle.
Got it.
Good. Before you leave town, stop by the Graves' Rest. Most visitors to Stalwart spend some time there, so Hafric and his patrons may be able to give you the lay of the land.
I don't know about you, but I'm parched all of a sudden. Actually, I want to ask you about something.
What's on your mind? The Pargrin dwarves guarded it like a mother bear. It's a wonder we know as much as we do. What's on your mind?
I want to know more about Stalwart.
Adir founded us back in their colonial days to supply ore to the Empire. Saw a fair bit of traffic from both sides of the White March then.
She rubs the knob on of her shortened ring finger.
But after the Deerwood claimed independence, Defiance Bay found cheaper places to get ore. Didn't have much reason to maintain our supply routes.
Isn't Stalwart part of the Deerwood?
Officially. Though with the state the roads are in, you wouldn't guess it.
Tell me some of the more important places around town.
Here in the center? Let's see. The Graves Rest is next door. Hafric can set you up with a room and a hot meal there. The fishery's just on the edge of the lake, and the Temple of Andra is next to it. No one keeps a secret like Lavda. Or so I'm told. A few folk live in this part of town, too. Seemed a lot safer before the ogres broke through the western gate. Thiersch lives next to the old mine shaft, and Tana, the old mine overseer, is next door to me.
She jerks her thumb towards the wall. What do you do here?
I'm the mayor. Or so I'm reminded every time there's a game shortage, ogre attack, or a neighborly dispute. I'm a builder by trade, though. Traveled all over Air Glonfoth and the Deerwood in my younger days, but ended up back here anyway.
She gives you a vague smile that's gone as quickly as it appears.
What's on your mind?
Can you tell me anything about the last expedition I went to Durgan's battery?
They didn't volunteer much, and I knew better than to ask.
She scratches her jaw, frowning.
I've seen all types charging through here. Professional companies with shiny new equipment as brazen as you please, and hopeless runts with nothing but tattered leathers. But these folk, I don't know what they were after, and the way they looked at you made you feel cold all over.
She shakes her head as if dislodging a bad dream.
Wish I could tell you more.
Perhaps we'll find more in the battery itself, yes? He nods at you with a guarded look. Hey, Tatsumi! How you doing?
What's on your mind?
Farewell.
Hey there.
Be cautious. Be constant.
Sure. Consider it done. Give me a real challenge.
Judging from the large hole behind the gills, and it can be safely assumed this trophy fish was shot with a pistol and not caught by a hook or a net. Oh my god.
Something else you need?
They're pistol fishing? I love it. Do you know anything about Durgan's battery?
It's a fool's hope. A fantasy that's kept these parts inhabited longer than they should be.
He glances around the whole house and its worn furnishings.
They say the Pargrunan dwarves developed Durgan steel, became powerful, rich. And then one day, they locked their doors and died.
He shrugs, turning his palms toward you.
Nothing like a mystery to stir folk up. Most of Stalwart is convinced that some Pargrin secret will save us all. But that don't stop them from whispering a prayer when they pass the old fortress.
A sour smirk crosses his lips. Earlier you said I should make peace with Matron Berengan.
About the only thing folk here haven't tried. Killing one more matron won't change things for long.
He shakes his head.
Besides, her clan's flames that whisper. The one that attacked us was Wolf with many mouths. I'd know him anywhere.
They're cut from the same cloth, Aldrich. Only a matter of time before Baragon marches through that gap in our walls.
At the sound of Reningild's voice, Aldrich's shoulders stiffens. His jaw works in a silent but furious retort. You seem to disagree with Renengild on quite a few matters.
Mother's convinced that a magic forge will turn this frozen crack into a hub of civilization. She can't accept this place is dying. Me, I'd just as soon move on.
He scrapes the sole of his boot on the straight but weathered floorboard. What do you do here?
I'm a carpenter, Mother's a builder, so it felt like a good fit at the time.
He presses his lips into a wry frown.
Not that we've got a lot of new folk to build houses and furnishings for. These days, I spend most of my time fixing up the stockade.
Okay,
I'll see what I can find.
cool. Let's get out. Man, that was a lot of exposition. Although now we know a whole lot more. A whole lot more. Let's see what we can glean.
Disappointed!
Oops.
Been looking
Sorry, guys.
everywhere for you.
The man is sweating despite the cold. He opens his mouth to speak, but all that comes out is a loud, hacking cough. He bends forward, bracing his hand on his thighs while he heaves and gasps. After a lengthy duration, he raises a finger still panting. All Ifric's fault. Damn fool sent me to the other side of town, looking for you. At last he stands again. He wipes his dripping brow with the back of his hand and then offers that hand to you in greeting. Pick your nose then shake his hand? Oh god. Shake his hand. Pleasure to meet you. I'm the captain of the militia around here. Nice to meet you. I wanted to catch you before you went running off into the wilds. See, there's a few dangerous folks you might be on the lookout for. Plus, if you're heading out to Longwatch Falls, I thought you could pick up a thermal pearl for me. He looks away and twists the toe of his boots into the snow. You want me to find a thermal pearl for you? That's the thing. I already found it. I just need someone else to go out and get it. Saw it in the hot springs up near Longwatch Falls. Would have probably grabbed it myself, but that's when I looked around and saw the Lagufaith. Must have been 50 of them. He spreads his arms wide. I would have fought, but I started to wonder what the rest of Stalwart would do without me, so I ran, for the sake of the village, of course. What is a thermal pearl anyway? They form in the hot springs, something to do with all the minerals in the water. Smell kind of funny, but they're full of minerals. Just have to crumble them into a pint. He grins and you notice that his gums are bleeding. Ugh. They cure scurvy. Like I said, the pearls in one of the thermal pools near Longwatch Falls shouldn't be hard to spot. Dude, he's got scurvy? Holy shit. Tell me more about Longwatch Falls. It's east of Stalwart, got some nice views of the valley, but most folk avoid it these days. Plenty of wilder nearby, and it only takes a few inches of snow to block the pass. If you're heading out that way, I'd suggest talking to Thursh. Thursh? He might have something to help you deal with the Lagufaith. That's all I need to know. Stop by Thursh place before you leave town. His is the house next to the mines. He's a veteran hunter who knows the wilds better than anyone. You said something about dangerous folks in the wilderness. We get our share of crazies out here. Most of them aren't even from the village. He laughs at his own joke. Latest groups I'd heard of were the Gleaming Society and the Sisterhood of the Slaked Skull. But Rin Guild set aside some bounty money to see that these troublemakers were taken care of. You bring me the head of their leaders and I'll give you the payment. Sure, man. I want to know about the Gleaming Society. Crazy pack of radicals that wants to topple governments and kill the wealthy. Makes the War of Defiance looks like a food fight. Duck Avar and a regent of Red Ceres both declared them illegal, which is probably the only thing those two would agree on. Or would have, before all that murder and mayhem in Defiance Bay. He frowns, scratching the back of his neck. Anyway, check Longwatch Falls to the east. That's where they were last seen. Who leads the Sisterhood of the Slaked Skull? That'll be Mesdla. All of the members of the Sisterhood worship Barath by sending as many folk back to the wheel as they can. He shivers. They've been poking around Durgan's battery and Whale, only knows why, but you can understand why no one around here was pleased to hear about it. Passed through town recently, didn't stay long, but they stopped at the Temple of Undra. You might see if Lavda knows something. If you come across them, be careful, they're unpredictable. Okay.
Don't see the harm. Building's thirsty work. Figured you'd be out of here in a flash after the fighting died down. Most people don't stick around after they figure out the ogres are making regular visits. I would have helped fight them monsters off, you know. If I didn't think I'd just get in the way. And with you there to handle things, everything turned out well enough, didn't it? Don't see why Havric's still sour at me.
What's this about Evric?
Oh, Havric's the innkeeper over at the Grave's Rest. I may have been hiding in the inn when the fighting started. The raid didn't improve his disposition any.
Okay.
Did you know he has a whole case of Fenland liquor in there? I keep offering to buy it off him, but he says he's saving it up for when the batteries open again. As if we're gonna last that long. Anyhow, he said he'd thrash me up and down the mountain if I didn't leave him be.
It seemed reasonable to want to save it for a special occasion.
It's delusional is what it is. Hey, look, maybe, not that you have the face for it or anything, but maybe you could help me out.
Oh, bravo. Subtle indeed.
Averick keeps all the good stock in the inn cellar. Out of sight, you see. I mean, it's bound to be under lock and key, but I'm sure he wouldn't miss a single bottle. Not with everything that's going on.
Okay, and what do I get out of this?
I'll pay you for it. I swear it. We'll split my wages. And the bottle, too, if you like. I just want to be able to say these lips have tasted the best the Ishamael Plains have to offer.
Anyone ever tell you you're a little strange, Rayfault?
Nothing so kind. You try living here a few years and see how you turn out.
Kill Ulmar and take his head. That's fine.
He'll never know I'm here.
Kill Metzla. That's fine too. Search a Great Forest cellar for Fenland liquor. We'll see. Oh, okay, no. I thought it was leading to the side of the map. No, it doesn't. Okay, let's go into the inn. Curious to see what happens. Man, this place is awesome. I really like the setting.
I dread.
Wow,
discovering
look at
what
that.
passes for cuisine in this place.
Dude, that must be delicious. Can you imagine just going in there and just like grabbing like a freaking chicken or something like through a branch and then hanging the branch over the fire there? Oh, dude, that must be delicious. Delicious.
Excuse me, was there something you need?
She knits her fingers together and looks intently at the floor. Farewell.
Slowly now.
Wow. Take a look at this for a second. So, crit multiplier or spell damage. I think I'll do spell damage, to be honest. I think it's better because the thing is with spell damage, it's all the time, whereas crit multiplier is only when you crit, right? So that makes sense. Aleph.
No offense, but I already paid Hafric for this room.
Okay. No offense. It's cool, man. That's very cool. We need to rest soon. Like, Aloth is having a...
Owena! Go check on that Orlin. Make sure he don't steal nothing. Never
Ifrit.
seen such a bloodbath. Feels like we got half the town's survivors in here, just drinking to forget it.
The dwarf surveys the crowd, his expression sober despite the half-empty flagon by his hand. He shakes his head and looks to you, remembering himself. Which guy? Which guy talked to me and I missed?
But you must be looking for some refreshment, too, after the way you handled them ogres. Or perhaps a room. Say the word and I'll give that shifty little Orlin the boot.
I talked to him. The message when he said, the one message when he said, no offense, but I paid for this room, is when I clicked on him. That was me clicking on him. That wasn't me walking past him. I clicked on the guy, and that's what he said. He nods at you with gruff camaraderie. I'll go back. We'll go back. We'll go talk to him again. But that was when I clicked on him. Eravis looks at you with bared teeth. Say the word to me, and I'll give the drooling idiot a shredding so vigorous he won't know what hole does what anymore. What, Orlin?
Showed up a few days ago, sticks his nose out of the back room just long enough to empty his chamber pot.
He squints towards the hall as if daring the Orlin to show himself.
Up to no good, I tell you. I'd like nothing more than to see him gone, but I don't want a ruckus over it.
I could talk to him. No, but see, he's... Aethric right now is talking about that Orlin that we met in the room. So now I'm going to have to go back and talk to him. That's why he's voiced. I think it is what it is. What makes you so sure he's trouble?
We get our share of lowlifes coming through here. Smugglers, fugitives, Kith looking to avoid the sharp eye of the law. Ways keeping to himself. Well, honest Kith sure don't have cause for it.
I could talk to him.
Don't hurt him or anything. I just want him to leave peacefully. Given your history, I thought I'd be clear on that point.
It gives you a meaningful look.
Back to warm your hands, eh? What can I do for you?
Oh, I can turn on the Rayfault? Oh, should I? I should. That'd be the good thing to do, right? Tsumi, there's 3 other streamers. We're trying to grow it, actually. I'm a mod for that community. We're trying to grow it. Essentially, just like people that have beards and or enjoy bearded streamers. I know it's kind of weird, but there's a lot of communities for bearded streamers, but there's not a lot for people that just enjoy beards. So like you don't need to have a beard. You just need to enjoy people that have beards. It was made by a streamer friend of mine, and she invited me in it to promote it and to be a mod for it. But anybody's welcome. That's the plan is just to grow like this small community there and just talk with other people that do enjoy beards, and yeah, that's pretty much it. We're trying to grow it, so if you know other streamers that might want to join in, or if you are yourself a streamer and or a viewer that would just love to join in to Tsumi, you're more than welcome to do so. Absolutely. That's... Should check out Beard Brigade. Zephyr Geek, great streamer, and is the longest full-time streamer from South Africa. Really, Tsumi? You know what? Tsumi, can you send that information to me like in a whisper on Twitch? So I don't lose it like through the chat? Because I would love to go and take a look. I thought you might want to know that Rayfault asked me to steal your liquor. Should I? Nah. I like a room.
Quality bear pelts on every bed. You won't be disappointed.
I want a room. We'll take that one.
Margaret's fire casts light in dark places.
There's a cook. This large piece of stone is adorned with an engraving of a hammer and chisel, though the writing beneath it is too worn away to read. Interesting. Oh, Endred. Look at that. They have like specific names. What up, yo? Hey there, good timing. You can watch me trounce Berthwin. Alcohol and sharp objects. This won't end well. Once, Hendred, you won once. What are you playing? Arden's head. Hendred grins sheepishly. That's what they call it anyhow. Smooth. You pick a target, see, nose or ears. Nose is worth more, but you've got 2 ears to work with. You get less points the further out from the target you get. So for the mouth and eyes, no point if you miss. Sounds boring. I know a game that's much more entertaining. It's called The Wooden's Penis. Oh, man. Endred and Berthwin exchange a look of concern. Endred looks to you and forces a smile. It's the beard inside that counts. Awesome, Tsumi. Love it. Fancy a game. 3 throws each, and whoever gets the most points by the end of it wins the wager. I'll put down 50 pence if you will. Sure, let's play. Hendrik pulls a throwing knife from his belt, turning it over in his hand. Continue. Wager's 50 pence. You in? Yep. Lovely. I'll go first just to show you how it's done. Hendrik aims carefully and throws his blade. The knife hits the mouth, scoring 5. Hendrik walks up to retrieve the knife. Your turn. And for the nose. The knife hits the skin, scoring 1. And throws his blade. Here, scoring 7. Nose. The fur scoring 2. Man, this is ridiculous. How is he so good? Okay, I got it. Is it random? The coin 2 and Endred snickers. Come on back if you want to try again. That's so weird. I wonder what decides if you can win or lose or what, you know? That's so weird. Ah, it's our auger-slaying friend. Have they crowned you Queen of Stalwart yet? My friend doesn't mean to be an ass, ma'am. It just comes natural. What? I want a crown. I'll be going. Suit yourself. Probably stats, yeah.
Keeping an eye
Still
out.
can't feel my fingers. Thought I'd found shelter when I stumbled across this little village. Guessing you did too, huh?
Farah raises his frosty mug to you. Even though the warmth of the heart reaches you here, her hands are wrapped in weirwool, and her ears muffled by a hat. Her face as the taut, wind-beaten look of someone who's recently come from the road.
As much blood as there was in the streets, I'm lucky the ale's still flowing.
She takes a drink as if and as she tilts her head back, you see a bruise purpling her jaw and the crimson bloom of scraped knuckles. What exactly happened to you?
Thought all the whispers about Durgan's battery were just village superstition. And maybe they are. But I might have been on my guard if I'd listened.
Probably random.
I was part of an expedition, hunting for relics from Durgan's battery. And picked up a good haul, too.
She takes a slow swallow of her beer.
So it figures that's when the winds pick up and the sky starts dumping snow. We lost sight of the road.
Meanwhile,
Well,
oh, never
something
mind.
else found us. Took Liam out before we even realized we were surrounded. And then we see him coming out of the snow. These little four-armed wilder. Lagufoth, they're called.
Lagufoth. Okay, she shakes her head, staring at the embers in the fire pit.
Quick little bastards. Francesca and I held them off as long as we could, but when they filled her full of darts, I turned tail and ran. Found my way here and thanked my luck for escaping the Lagufoth. Then come to find out that this town's got an ogre problem.
She laughs bitterly. What are you going to do now?
I need to get those artifacts. Not that I'm in any shape to go after them myself. But I can't afford to return to Defiance Bay without something to show for my expedition.
Apprehension creeps into her expression. She stares into her mug, swirling its contents.
But you've got your own expedition to the battery, don't you? While you're out there, maybe you could look for my goods. Whatever's left of them.
She looks up from her mug, hopeful.
I'll give you a cut for anything you bring back, of course. I ain't asking for charity. I just can't afford to go home empty-handed.
She brushes her nails along the side of her mug as the anxious looks returns. Tell me what you're looking for.
Like I said, we were treasure hunting near Durgan's battery when we were ambushed. What else do you want to know?
Renengil told me that another expedition came through before I arrived. Was that you?
Who?
She looks momentarily confused.
No, that would have been somebody else. We didn't meet with Renengild, or anyone else in town for that matter. We were operating on our own.
She looks into the fire pit, taking another drink. Examine her teeth. As Farah talks, you notice that her teeth and gums are stained with dark spots. She's got scurvy too. Why are these relics so important to you?
We took out several loans to pay for our trip out here. I'm gonna have trouble if I don't pay them back.